Yo, what's up, guys? My name is Nick, and welcome to episode 40 of our MyTeam journey. It's been a long one, and we are now at the Japanese Grand Prix, but we are not starting it yet, as we have to do our activities. It's only 2 days in between, but as you can see, we are going to the messages, and it is Sebastian Vettel who is going to retire at the end of season 2. Unfortunately, we will no longer have him in our career mode. Of course, in real life, he retired as well, and it's sad to see him go in the game as well. So I hope he will come into F1 23 as a MyTeam icon, or maybe after another year in 2024 as an icon then. Because I want to have him as my teammate, but unfortunately we just do not have the things needed for him to stay in Formula 1 as he is now retiring. But that's not the only news we have before getting into quali. We also have our regulation changes, so that's also a thing. Yeah, you can see weather forecast. It's dry. We do not have any problems, luckily. And you can see chassis and powertrain are both affected by this. So we are going to undo our development plans and go and put those resource points into the part savings for next season, because we want to have a good car next season and fight for the championship. That's the goal for next season. Of course, this season we are in P6 for the Constructors' Championship, because the gap to Alpine is just too big to cover in only 4 or 5 races that we have left. So yeah, as you can see, I am now saving all my parts until my resource points are up. So yeah, we can't do anything more. Let's go into quali. We've seen in the past few episodes that we only have one set of softs for Q1 and one set of softs for Q2, but I forgot about it in this quali. As you can see, we are still at the beginning of our qualification, and I am on soft tires already, so that means that we only have one run to do. Of course, I have enough fuel for 2 laps, so that's what I'm going to do, as we are rounding up our final, our first lap, not a final lap, it's still our first lap. And as you can see, we go towards the start-finish straight, and we are 4 tenths behind Daniel Ricciardo, which is not that bad, but we want to be ahead of him. So as you can see, 1 lap later, we are improving by 2.5 tenths. And coming through 130R, we are gaining massively there, compared to the AI, not compared to ourselves. But we go through there flat out, and they lift or maybe even brake in there. But in the last corner we gained a lot of time, and we now are half a second up. And yeah, you can see we tried to go out at the end of the session on the same set of tires, but they just don't have much more life in them, which we can use for our qualification. So we unfortunately do not improve anymore. But luckily, as we have a look at the results, we are still in P14 with the exact same time as Alexander Albon. That's absolutely crazy how fast he is compared to his teammate. His teammate is in P20. Yes, you can see 1.5 seconds off of Paul, and yeah, Albon is just a second quicker than his teammate. That's unbelievable. But now we are at the end of quali 2. You can see we come now towards the start finish straight to start our lap, not end our lap, and we only have one shot. So it's basically a one-shot qualifying, just in a long form. And as you can see, we did put a time in, but that was on the mediums. So yeah, we are in P14. So we would have gone out on the softs anyway, but we are improving half a second in the first few corners, and it's just because the mediums don't have that much grip compared to the softs in those S sections. And then at the end of the lap, you can see we are now done with qualifying. Qualifying is complete, and we are improving by 1.3 seconds. And we are catching up to Gasly as well, so we are faster than him. Of course, I think it's Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren behind us who is getting closer to us, but as we cross the line, I think it was P10. As you can see, it is P10, so we are through to qualifying 3, the final stage of qualifying. And as you can see, we have a look at the results in just a moment. That we have pushed out our teammate, but he was 7/10 off pole and we were only 4/10 off, so maybe we have a shot at the pole position. Of course, 4/10 is still a big gap, but yeah, no surprises for the rest who are out of Q2. So yeah, just the usual. But as we have a look at the results for qualifying 3, you can see I am in P10 and I am 7/10 off pole. I don't know how they got that speed, but they all went so much faster than I could ever imagine to go.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today at the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles. It's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 circuit. And the drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. Keep an eye out for overtakes into the final chicane. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Russell, Sebastian Vettel and Sainz. The engineer, Button, Ocon and Lando Norris. Ricciardo, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Perez and Sir Lewis Hamilton and Magnussen. Joe, Stroll, Alex Albon, they've taken a grid penalty, and Mick Schumacher. Gasly, Schwartzman, Tsunoda, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
The Japanese Grand Prix, you can see we are starting in P7 and 8 because a few drivers had penalties. But as we have our usual start, we drop a few places down into P11 at the moment. Norris goes ahead of us and Lewis Hamilton tries to go around the outside of us. As you can see from an off-board now, that we are still side by side with him. But eventually we overtake him as we have the inside line towards that corner. And as we go towards the hairpin, we almost crash into Norris. Luckily we don't. And maybe we can even try to go around the outside him. Yes, we do. Can we also try to use ERS and overtake Daniel Ricciardo into the spoon curves? I don't know it for sure, but let's have a look at it. Yes, we go down the inside, but we have a bit of a collision with him. And Norris and Daniel Ricciardo collide. And it looks like Norris is out of this race. He's going so slow. I think it is a DNF for Lando Norris in the Japanese Grand Prix. Luckily, we don't have any damage as we are now in lap 2. And we are on the mediums. Our teammate is on the soft tire. Hopefully he's doing a one stop from softs to hards and not a two stops from soft to medium to hard, because then he would lose all his places. Yeah, I don't think that a two stop is very good around here. As you can see now, through 130R we go, and we just gain so much time compared to Ocon. We tried to go down the inside, but that didn't happen, as I wanted to live on for another lap. And you can see Ocon went a bit wide or a bit deep into the corner. But with the use of the ERS, we are now going to try and overtake him as DRS is enabled. We are going side by side. Are we going to overtake him into turn 1? Yes, we do. And now we are up into P8 once again. Our teammate started at this position. We started in his position. and we are now in lap 4 in P8, so we need to try and hold on to Button and Russell. Of course, with Russell being our main competitor, our main rival, then we need to beat him for sure, because I don't want to lose out on another rivalry. So yeah, we are in lap 5. The race is beginning to settle a bit, but there's still a lot of action. As Ocon is only 2 tenths behind us, he is on the soft tire, so he is faster in these opening laps. But I'm trying to hold on to the DRS with Button, because that is really necessary to have the DRS in the start-finish straight. As you can see, I do have the DRS now. And as we are closing up to Button, you can see he just breaks out of nowhere, going to turn 1. I think this is the only corner in the whole calendar where they do where they break twice for a corner, because they break a little bit before the corner and then when they go in the corner. So I don't know why, but we are going to 130 off for the 8th time already. You can see I'm going down the inside. Can we hold it? No, we can't. We are still behind our teammate. But now we have DRS, we have ERS, and never mind, he goes into the pits. Okay, so our teammate is now into the pits, and it's a lap 9, so I could have expected this, but I didn't remember that he got into the pits at this stage of the Grand Prix. I think he has gone onto hards. Luckily he did that, because otherwise he would have done a 2-stop. But we are in P7 for the moment. Everybody ahead of us is on a 1-stop. Everybody behind us is on a 1-stop. From medium to soft. Oh no, once again from medium to hard, not to soft, because they won't last as long. And as you can see, I'm trying to push as much as I can, because I don't want to give Daniel Ricciardo DRS. And I want to get into the DRS of the guys ahead. It's Russell, Sainz, I think Vettel and Alonso. Alonso is currently in P3. He is our rival, as we put in a purple second sector, but he is our rival in the championship. But I think that's too late to gain all those places back and all those points back to get P5 in the constructor standings. But as we try to cross the line, yes we do, and we put in the fastest lap of the race. Is a 1:30.897, which was quite fast at the moment. And as you can see now, a lap later we go into the pits. In Italy we had a perfect pit entry. Now we do it a little bit slower, but still it is a good pit stop as we come out in lap, no not lap 10, in lap 13. In P10, just ahead of Schumacher and my teammates. As you can see, he is on the hards, so we won't be making another pit stop for this race. And we are going to try and get as many points as possible. I am already on 2 points. Of course, the AI will be fast at the end of the race and try to get an even faster lap in. But yeah, for now I hold this record here. And as you can see, Verstappen is 14 seconds ahead and he has already stopped. As we now go past Perez and we are unfortunately behind Hamilton. And Alonso, you can see he's 9 seconds ahead, so it will be fairly difficult to try and overtake him nearing the end of the race. But of course we have still a long way to go. We are nowhere near the end. We are still in lap 15 now. As you can see, I'm going to overtake Lewis Hamilton with this beautiful shot. I absolutely love this shot. And as you can see, I tried to overtake him, but we are still side by side coming into the S-curves. And you can see I go ahead, then he goes ahead, I go ahead. And it's just an amazing battle. It looks like Hamilton has a position, but we go around the outside and we hold the line at the inside. And now we are past Lewis Hamilton as well. And it brings us up into P8. But yeah, as you can see, there's still a long way to go. Still 10 laps remaining. As Daniel Ricciardo is 2 seconds ahead of us, but that's not what we are looking at. We are looking at Sainz. Because the gap was earlier 6 seconds, now it's 4.4 seconds. Which is really great because we are catching up to them. It's a big group of cars all the way towards the podium. So if we can try and overtake everybody, then we can go for a podium this race as we improve our fastest lap just by a few thousandths of a second. But it is an improvement as we are now 3.5 seconds behind Sainz. It's lap 20. We have put in a purple first sector. And as you can see, towards 130 we go, and we put in a second sector as well. It's all purple. Can we go for a total purple lap and put in a fabulous fast lap. Of course, we didn't take as much car as I would have liked in that final corner, which means that the last sector is not purple, but we do a 1:30.473. To be honest, I was quite happy with the lap, as our tire wear is already 30% and we are only halfway done with our stint, as we have now catched up to Ricciardo and Sainz and everybody else. You can see how close I am behind him. I tried to go for the inside, but I had a better look at it and decided to not do it, because otherwise I would have crashed with him and we wouldn't have gotten any points. So yeah, as we go now towards another beautiful lap here at the Japanese Grand Prix, we are going to overtake Ricciardo. Around the outside we go, and you can see once again this beautiful shot, as we have now overtaken Daniel Ricciardo, and we are up into P7, only 4 laps remaining. So yeah, we need to try and overtake somebody every lap, but of course this fighting with Ricciardo has cost us a bit of time, which meant that we now have to catch up to Sainz once again, and that with only a few laps remaining. You can see I am still quite close to Sainz, as this section is the worst of our entire lap, as Robert Schwarzman is out of the session. To be honest, that's not really putting anything new into our race, because he's not really relevant to us, as we are in P7 still. But it looks like there's no safety car. I think it's too close to the end, as we now go through 1:30 for the 24th time already. And there's once again another yellow flag. Is this a safety car or is it not? As we are now really close behind Sainz, who is out of this race. I think it's Lewis Hamilton. I think he's out of this Grand Prix. As you can see, Lewis Hamilton is out of the session. And that means that now our teammate is into P10, so he is scoring a point as well, which is amazing. And because every point counts, as we are now really close behind Sainz. Only 2 laps remaining after this one. So it's really close to the end. We try and overtake him, but nothing there. We are going towards the final few turns, and you can see purple second sector, and we try to go around the outside here at the final chicane. He locks up, goes deep, and we overtake him beautifully, going into the penultimate lap. So that is how we took P6 in this race. I don't think we can do anything else in this race, because you can see the gap is 2 seconds and we are now in the last lap already, and it's still 2 seconds to Russell ahead. So that won't be a possibility to get P5 in this race. Of course, he is our main rival, but unfortunately we did not overtake him in this Grand Prix, as we go towards the final few corners, as Max Verstappen wins the Japanese Grand Prix. I think it's Charles Leclerc in P2 and Sebastian Vettel who finishes off the podium. And unfortunately we lose our fastest lap. We went from P7 to P6 in this race. It's 8 points for us, which is really great. So yeah, we are happy with this, or at least I am. So let me know what you think about this race, and give me a comment about what I should have done better to get a better result.
They've done it then, here at Suzuka. A brilliant win on the beloved figure-of-8 circuit. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So this is our podium: Verstappen, Leclerc and Vettel. Of course, 3 very talented drivers. And as you can see, Verstappen gets his beautiful trophy, and Red Bull is happy with that one, as he is winning quite a few races now. Of course, with Vettel only having 1 season remaining until he retires, it's his last chance to be a 5-time world champion. So you can expect that I'm going to help him a little bit to get a 5th championship, because he really deserves that. As Fernando Alonso sets a fastest lap of the race, you can see a 1:30.365, and I am only a tenth slower. But we finish in P6, our teammate finishes in P10 with 1 point, so that's 9 points for us this race. To be honest, that's really good, because we need to score points. But unfortunately, that's already it. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, then please like and subscribe and share it with all your friends. So yeah, like, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.